It is also written in the Bhagavad Gita that killing the wrong person is not a sin. So there are some deeds that are wrong, but are not wrong. Hearing all this from his client, the lawyer also got into thinking because on one hand, the accused criminal was talking about the Gita, and on the other hand, the same person had killed 40 people at the age of 40 very brutally. Even a stone-hearted person would get scared on seeing things like blood and dead bodies. But this person would cook and eat his food in the same room where he used to hunt. He was such a person that when he was arrested, there was not even the slightest sign of shame on his face. He was as good as a monk, but the things that he had done would make any monster feel ashamed of himself. This story started on October 20th, 2006, when a call came from a stranger in Tihar Jail, and the person on the other side of the call said that a dead body had been kept in a basket at gate number 3 of Tihar Jail. Hearing this, everyone's feet slipped because Tihar Jail is a well-known jail in Delhi. Keeping a dead body outside can only be done by a person who is not scared of anything. When we went out and looked, a basket was kept on the same footpath in which the torso of a dead body was tied, and under was a letter in which the entire judicial system was abused a lot. If we were to write a synopsis of this letter in one line, it said, "Catch me if you can." Whoever kept that dead body outside and wrote this letter, it was pretty obvious that he was very angry with the judicial system of the country. He wanted to tell through his letter how skilled he was in this work and how the police were not able to do their job properly. In investigation, first of all, that call was traced, which the police received on October 20th. And it blew the police's senses when it was found that the call had come from an STD booth. When the person standing outside the booth was asked, he said that only one person had arrived. The sketch was ready, and the content written in the letter also revealed the accent of that caller, which turned out to be a Bihari accent. The investigation was progressing in this way when, on April 25th, 2007, once again, the police bell rang. The same voice, the same stone-cold tone. The hint was correct. Once again, a dead body was kept at the same spot outside gate number 3 of Tihar Jail. The body was tied so tightly that not even a single policeman present there was able to open it. Then a man from the crowd came and said that he could open this body, and he opened this body with his knife. So now the thing is that despite the presence of police and so many people, only the torso of the body of the person who untied the killer himself was found at Tihar Jail. The rest of the body parts were at a special unit of police was formed to investigate this case because the criminal justice system had come to know that this was not an ordinary murderer, but a psychopathic serial killer who was determined to kill himself. There was a lot of pride. It was becoming more difficult to solve the case because the identification of the body was of the headless people of Tihar Jail. The police had no idea whose body it was and where they were killed. Now the search for the serial killer had started in the whole of Delhi. And then the police got another news that another headless body was found near Gate No. 3 of Tihar Jail with a letter. In the letter, the killer had written to the police that a huge reward should be kept for catching him because he had pride in what he was doing. He also wrote that he had been committing murders for the last 7 to 8 years. And when he did not commit a murder, his mind went crazy. This statement of the killer shows that he has psychopathic traits. And the fear is that if he is psychopathic, then he will commit more crimes by following this pattern. Now let's talk about the investigation. The pressure of this case was increasing on the police. Then they remembered that a similar case had happened in 1998 when a headless body was found outside Tihar Jail and the rest of the body parts were scattered all over the place. In this case, a suspect was arrested, but the case lasted only for 3 years because the police did not find any evidence, so the case had to be closed. Now, when the investigation was going on, it was found out from the police detective that a person of the same appearance used to visit a doctor's clinic regularly in Azadnagar. The police team was moving ahead under the leadership of Narendra Pahelwan, and the very next day, they reached the doctor's clinic. While making inquiries there, the serial killer's call came to the doctor to fix an appointment for the very next day. After asking the doctor, it was found out that the name of that person was Chandrakant Jha. Chandrakant had 5 daughters, whose delivery took place in the same hospital by the same doctor. It was found out by the doctor that Chandrakant was also trying to kill the doctor's brother-in-law. So, in this case, while investigating in that direction, the police also questioned the doctor's brother-in-law, and there they found out that Chandrakant had a motor car from which he sold vegetables. Based on this small information, the police found Chandrakant's house, and within a matter of hours, The most dangerous serial killer in the city was handcuffed and kept in police custody. This is the serial killer Chandrakant Jha. In 2006 and 2007, fear spread due to the discovery of beheaded bodies one after another around Tihar Jail. The killer was also continuously threatening the police on the phone. This mistake cost Chandrakant dearly, and he was caught. Now the answers to all the questions and mysteries of the police were sitting on a chair in front of him. He did not have a pinch of fear or stress on his face. Now Chandrakant had agreed to tell everything, but only if the police did not threaten or beat him. He began with his name, Chandrakant Jha. He had 5 daughters. He used to live in Delhi, but taking his serial killer profession seriously, he had taken a house in Hyderpur. According to the Indian Institute of Public Administration, about 42 million people migrate from Bihar to other cities in a year due to unemployment. In cities like Mumbai or Delhi, all these immigrants find jobs according to their qualifications, and 7 to 8 people live in a small environment. Because all of them come from other states, they have to go through a lot of discrimination. Something similar happened with Chandrakant Jha. After coming to Delhi, he first started working in the vegetable market, where he used to pick up sacks of vegetables and load and unload them on the trucks. Everything was going smoothly for Chandrakant. He raised his voice against Antya because that goon was killing an innocent man. But when he raised his voice, the goon almost killed Chandrakant, and Chandrakant almost kissed the feet of death. He gathered himself and was admitted to a nearby hospital, learning his lesson. He realized that being the one with power is the most important thing. Apart from him, immigrants like him would have to face the same fate as he had faced that night. After recovering, Chandrakant learned martial arts. The night when the local goon did this to him, he decided in his unconscious state that from now on, he would not let anyone claim him. Where Chandrakant used to work, he had a very violent history with his union leader. The union leader there used to take a certain amount from all the laborers, which Chandrakant found unfair because it was his hard-earned money. One day, Chandrakant refused to give money to that union leader, due to which a scuffle broke out between them, leading to the union leader getting a cut on his hand. As a result, Chandrakant was arrested. Chandrakant's wife was also arrested in this case, even though she had nothing to do with it. Chandrakant was treated very badly in jail. Sometimes he was stripped naked, and other times he was given less food. After coming out of jail, Chandrakant made Pandit, who was the union leader, his first victim. In 1998, the body that was found outside Tihar Jail belonged to the same union leader. To date, no evidence of these 3 murders has been found by the police. The police got the evidence of the recent murder when Chandrakant told them that he had thrown the head of a headless body into the Yamuna River. Chandrakant lived in Gozai village in Bihar, and the people there were very scared of him because of his violent nature. Chandrakant would get triggered over the smallest things, one of them being someone lying to him or someone eating non-veg in his house. Chandrakant's method of killing was very different. He used to befriend the people he killed because most of them were from his village and the neighboring villages. He used to help them and let them stay in his house. He used to give them small jobs and had built a reputation for himself. But these so-called friends were just one mistake away from being murdered. Biddu Jadhav, a man from Chandrakant's village, also got caught in the same trap. When Biddu Jadhav was forced into Chandrakant's house to commit the murder ritual, he saw that 2 more people were helplessly tied up. However, Biddu Jadhav showed smartness and saved his life along with the other 2 people. One of them was Anil Mandal, who took Chandrakant's camera from his room. It was the same camera with which he had taken his photos. A director named Aisha Sood recently released a web series on Netflix about this case. And these are not just photos, but reflections of the dark, psychopathic mind of Chandrakant Jha. When Chandrakant was telling his story, there was no regret or fear on his face. So now the question arises, who made Chandrakant the most terrifying serial killer in Delhi? Well, this goes back to his upbringing in Gozai. Chandrakant says that his mother was very ignorant towards him, and his voice was always suppressed. Then, after coming to Delhi, certain incidents happened with Chandrakant that turned a violent person into a butcher. So when we talk about mental health, usually we discuss celebrities, upper middle class, and rich people, but we ignore the labor class, which includes many people like Chandrakant. It is not that only privileged people need mental health care. Mental health matters for everyone. However, it is especially important to think about the mental health of immigrants due to their rough life. These immigrants go through a lot of mental issues. Today, Chandrakant is spending his life in jail, but even today, the people of Gozai village and those who escaped from Chandrakant's trap are facing problems. They live in fear, constantly wondering what will happen if Chandrakant is ever released on parole and comes back to take revenge on all of them.